Off a bye and he's ready to go. It's Jacob Warren and a big SEC opponent on tap. So we'll talk about that and how he continues to grow in Tennessee's evolving offense that I want to get to. So there's a lot. Jacob, hope you had a good bye week. Now it's back for a stretch run, needless to say.
Back to it. Yeah, it's seems like every year you end up and where you're looking at the schedule and you're like, wow, really 7 weeks straight of just just really really good teams. But I mean, man, that's what you sign up for when you play in the SEC. So excited to get back to it. Had a great weekend off and happy to be back.
Your offense statistically is doing so fantastic running the football, and it
Yeah.
seems like a bit of a bit of a different offense. Every offense is different. Every team is different from
Mhm.
last year. But you face an A&M team that's very good at stopping the
Sure.
run as well. I
Yeah.
think that they are top 10 in the nation. So your thoughts on their run defense in particular?
Obviously have success. They got a lot of good talent on their team. They recruit really well at A&M, and so they get a lot of really talented, big, strong, fast, physical defensive linemen, linebackers, people supporting the run, their safeties and everything. So that in turn should mean you have good run defense, right? And they do, and they do a lot of different things, I guess, with their fronts and stuff. Just kind of the way they get to different looks, I guess, and just the way that they fit the runs, can be a little bit different, but it'll be nice, right? We'll have 2 weeks to prepare for it and to see all the fits and to see the way that the linebackers play specific, different blitzes or whatever it may be. It's nice to have a couple weeks to really explore and really try to learn everything you can about a um, really multiple and really talented defense.
Okay, I'm going to take a little jump here, and you always correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
You talk about multiple. You talk about blitzes. That makes me think of your defense, which you see in practice.
Yeah,
Are there similarities there between A&M and what you guys do defensively?
there are. Obviously, I've never actually played in a game versus my defense, but we see them, man, fall camp, spring ball, all this stuff. These things that you kind of just see their basic bread and butter stuff, and I think yeah, that they do a really good job, and they are very similar to us in the way that they're able to get in and out of different, you know, 4 down or 3 down, or sometimes having a rush standing up, and sometimes having them on the ball, and sometimes having two linebackers in the box versus one in the box, and having safety support runs and different coverages and stuff like that. So I would say they're very similar, and that's probably why our defense is also pretty good in run defense as well, just because of the looks they're able to present and the way they're able to attack the ball.
It's interesting. So, and I love what Tim Banks has done as far as putting together a defense that through the first couple of years I thought was the best with what he had, and now he's able to experiment more because he has more players, especially in the front seven. Do you see A&M doing that? There's similarities in depth and speed and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that allows you to do a lot of those cool different things is when you have the personnel to do it. I mean, if you have bodies that you can kind of plug and play, or you can, trust a, we call it a rush, or you could trust a James Pierce type person, like a defensive end that plays kind of on the edge. If you can trust him to play out in coverage, you can do cool things with that too, or drop him out and bring in pressures from the outside, or put him in the defensive backfield and let him kind of move around and just trying to honestly cause problems for identification of fronts and kind of where everybody's working on the front end, and that creates a lot of problems in the run game.
You mentioned Pierce.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. And you and I think we're two of the first to talk about it. You already knew, I'm sure, but I said there's this one
Mhm.
guy that stood out on tape early last year that I saw, and you're
Yeah.
like, who you going to mention? And I said James Pearson. Wow, somebody's going to be very successful when they're his agent one day because he's going to be. He already is very, very, very good.
Yeah, man, it's been great to see. Obviously, that kid was extremely highly recruited, and one of the higher recruits that we've had around here in a while. And just same way as everybody else, man, it takes a little bit to kind of understand, how you need to act and how you need to go about your business and handle everything and be prepared for games and how to treat your body and all these different things that just a young kid has to learn. And now you see him, truly taking advantage of everything that we've got going on here, and it's showing up on the field. He's having a great. He will continue to have a great season, and yeah, be one of those guys that is kind of those no doubter guys. Like, yeah, he's gonna be really successful in this game if he chooses so.
Yeah, had somebody tell me that talking about Hall of Fame type potential in the NFL, which and this person doesn't speak in hyperbole very often. Want to remind you that the Ball Report with Jacob Warren is brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Look at me, no glasses, no contacts. I've had the LASIK. I absolutely love it. And also, they can take care of you with cataract surgery and those regular examinations. Your offense now, and go to ccteyes.com to learn more. Your offense now is a lot different than it was last year. You guys are lighting it up, putting 60 on the board. It seemed like every single year, and now, or every single week, and now you're running the football at such a high clip. Can you talk about just kind of how this offense has evolved through the first month or so of the season?
I think, yeah, that part of our game is still definitely very, very much present, right? Very much there. Those talking about the deep shots and talking about being able to score 60 points a game and all those things. And truthfully, like the offense just has not gotten to that point yet, right? Like we're still a lot of development. There's still a lot of things that need to be done for us to be successful enough to be able to go hang 60 on people, and that's something that not a lot of teams have the opportunity to do. And so for us, just continue to watch film, continue to develop, like you said, getting better as the weeks go on, and being able to find an identity in that run game has definitely helped us. And you get games where you have 200-300 rushing yards, and you have one or two backs going for 100 yards, and you have these games where kind of you see the run game showing up more, like kind of like the pass game did last year. And end of the day is as long as you're having success and you're scoring more points than the other team, I guess it doesn't really matter how you do it. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting back to kind of that feeling of being able to just run by people and throw the ball, and trust it'll be on time, and trust that the wide receiver will run the right route, and kind of light the board out that way too. I think it allows you to score more points when you're able to do it from, you know, 50, 60 yards out, whatever maybe.
You guys, I mean, at the end of the day, you and I know this, but somebody that's watching Josh Heupel or maybe this channel for the first time may not realize as much how based you are in the run. But it seems like there's even a stronger foundation of being a very, very good running team than last year. And that's not a knock on last year. Last year, you guys were a great running team.
Right. No, I think that's just because of the guys we have back there. You have, two backs that truthfully could go anywhere and start pretty much on most, if not any team around the country. And another one, the third, and Dylan Sampson, that's a younger guy, but that we've talked about a lot on this show, is just truly coming into his own and stepping up whenever he's asked to, and playing that leadership role as a young guy. And you have just three dudes that really can just roll back there. So um, the same way you had Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman last year, Bru McCoy last year. Why would you not lean on those guys whenever that's really what you're really good at, what you're strong at? Kind of the same way with the backfield right now.
As far as Brew, obviously he's out for the season. Terrible injury. Do you feel like you had a bye week to kind of let that soak in a little bit? A lot of times you want to move forward as fast as possible, but do you feel like this team's been able to move forward past losing not just a really good player, but by all accounts, a really good guy as well?
Yeah, I think it'll be something that everybody thinks about pretty much consistently as we move forward. Also, as he kind of gets back into the building, and everybody sees him more, I think everybody will kind of just be reminded of the impact that he will continue to have, right, while being hurt. But just kind of his presence and everything that he brought to the table, like you said, not just on the field as a player, but just kind of as a teammate and as a person. So it's something that you don't necessarily get over or look over. Is just something that I know try to become okay with, and just accept the fact that it happens. And hopefully Brew, I haven't talked to him in a little while, but hopefully he's good spirits, and from everything I've heard he is, and just ready to get back and be around us, I'm sure.
Who's the vocal leader in that receiver group? And is I mean, tight end's kind of a hybrid position.
Yeah.
How much can you be that, or can a tight end be that?
You definitely, look to the tight ends, the wide receiver, or the quarterbacks, to have more of a voice now that you lose a leader in that room. And like I said, he will continue to, man, be just as involved as he can be or needs to be, whatever. But yeah, you're gonna have to have guys, like some of our younger guys, step up and truly take command of that room the way that Bru has and the way he did in the past. And just kind of trust each other, right? That'll be really big for these younger guys to step up and, be like, hey, look, it's time to go. Like there's no more complaining about not being out there or sitting on the bench. Like there's no more of that. Like we got to run, we got to go. They have to be trusted to go make plays, and they will, man. I think that something we've talked about too with the quarterback, battle a couple years ago is it doesn't matter, right? Who's back there, right? It doesn't matter who's out on the perimeter as long as they know what they're doing and they're confident in their abilities. Like we're with you, like we're rolling and we're good. So yeah, I think there's some work to be done from the tight end group, or at least for myself and from Joe, to kind of keep those guys up and continue to lead them whenever they've kind of felt like they've lost a piece of leadership with Brew.
So, in some ways, it goes outside just their room, the wide receiver room, guys to step up.
Yeah, and that's total offense, just in general, right? Without breaking it up, just truly being a leader of the offense and being, a guy that I guess handles the perimeter more than I guess Cooper or the offensive line or maybe the running backs would. I feel like that's more our job, more my job to kind of step up and take control of that.
Have you gone to any players in particular and said, "Hey, look what happened last year with Cedric Tillman and how that opened up doors for other players. This is your time." Have you challenged anybody personally?
I don't think at least that's not necessarily how I approached it. I think more of just kind of looking at it and be like, yo, like it's time to go, dude. Like whatever it is, like whether it's there's different ways to handle get different guys, but I don't know, bringing up past situations is not necessarily something that I don't know. I don't like talking about anybody getting injured, right? I really
Oh
like
yeah.
don't, what I mean? I don't like to bring it up, whatever. And it's not like because that's kind of how if we're going back in time, right? That's kind of how my career started, right? In my playing time, how I started to get a lot of playing time was we had a older guy who couldn't play, got hurt pretty late in camp, and kind of was just thrown into the mix and was out there trying to just figure it all out. And I know kind of the emotions and like kind of what I went through, just trying to get to the point where I could feel confident in my game. So trying to be behind those guys and say, look, man, yeah, like you said, like your opportunity's here. This is what you work for, what you talk about. Now it's time to, like I said earlier, just trust it, have that confidence to go do it.
That's interesting. So Jacob, did you need anybody to actually come to you and say, "Hey Jacob, it's time," or did you just you knew, right?
Pretty much no, right? And that's the thing is you sit there and um, talk about, man, like I just want to get on the field, like just whatever. I just wish I could be out there, all this stuff. And then finally, you're sitting there, and like you said, it is your turn. Like there's nothing else to think about, right? Like you know that it's your turn. You know that it's time for you to really kind of take this thing seriously. So, um, you know, whether someone did say anything or not, like you don't necessarily need somebody in that moment. You should be ready to go, just as a competitor, as a player.
Who do you see battling it out for those reps with Bruce sideline?
Um, I mean, all those guys that everybody reads about, I'm sure. Obviously, Chaz Nimrod and Caleb Webb and Ramel will continue to be Ramel, and um, just as time goes on, you'll see who's able to step up. Obviously, you want Dante to get back and be healthy, and Squirrel to continue to develop in the slot. Honestly, just trying to find the right pieces, man. Trying to find somebody that's going to go out there and play hard, and they've proven that they can and they will. And I think it was good to see some of the guys make some plays last week versus South Carolina after Brew who experienced the injury. So yeah, just continue to pump confidence and just good vibes and good energy into them. So hopefully they can come ready to play.
Okay, so I'm looking at Chaz in particular
Mhm.
because I've got this idea. He's because you're going to go on and you're going to begin your NFL Hall of Fame career next year. So
Wow.
I'm losing my guy here, so I'm struggling. But I think if Chaz wanted to do a weekly podcast, the Hooker and Nimrod podcast, it's got a name.
It's got a good ring to it. Got a good ring to it. It's funny. It's not really funny. It is funny to me, but in the weight room, Coach Schmidt, our head strength coach, he usually just calls guys by by their last name, right? And so he'll go, Nimrod, and then he'll say, the name's fitting. And then Chad's like, dude, what the heck? The name's fitting. So I don't know, it's funny, but Chad's a great dude, man. I really enjoyed being around him too. Um, we look pretty similar. We're both just light skinned dudes, but mixed dudes. And he goes, what's up, bigger me? And I go, what's up, little me? Yeah. I'm like,
So he refers to himself in the third person as bigger you.
yeah, what's up, bigger me? What's up, larger me?
That's
He's so goofy, man.
how much more equipped are you though as an offense? And we saw this when things weren't perfect when Cooper was out, but how much better equipped are you to deal with absences than you would have been 2 years ago in Josh Heupel's first season with a little bit of depth, knowing that Nimrod or Kalen Webb or somebody else can come off the bench.
Yeah, you definitely are in a better spot. Again, obviously, never want anything to ever happen to where you need your depth, right? But this team was, down a lot of numbers, right? Just lost a lot of people to the portal, or lost people just, whatever it was, and um, yeah, that was a big question mark. Is can you really handle one person going down? Like if one person goes down, do you have to change everything about what we got going on? And that's not how it is now, man. And that's a blessing. That's honestly something that we've needed for the past couple of years to be able to go be really successful and to be able to have that success late in the season is having the depth, having the numbers, and then that depth being truly reliable and truly able to go out there and perform. And it's great to be able to have it now.
I want to ask you an off the wall question. And I know you're busy with your business each and every week preparing for the next opponent, but there are a lot of people who've argued that the SEC might slightly be down. Now, down by their standards
Sure.
is still really, really good.
Sure.
When you look at tape of teams, and now this will be 3 with Florida, South Carolina, and A&M,
Hmm.
do you see any of that, or does it still look like the same strong SEC to you on tape?
Man, this league will always be the best league in college football by far. This league will always be challenging. Every week you go in, regardless of whether it's the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, it'll be a challenge and it'll be tough, right? And everybody's got players, everybody's got scholarship guys, everybody's got 3, 4, 5 stars. Like everybody has really, really good players. So it's just a matter, again, every week going into it. Doesn't matter what color they're wearing. Doesn't matter what logo they got on, what their name is, how many stars they had, how much money they're getting paid. End of the day, none of that stuff matters. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the sport too. Is just the fact that, like, man, it doesn't matter. We could be playing a Division II team from Idaho somewhere, and they could come out here and they could whoop our butts on our home field any day. And that's just how it goes, right? That's just the game. But more back to your question. Sorry, I don't necessarily think the SEC is down. I think you just have a lot of really good talent around the SEC, and I think that the talent is starting to. Um, I don't know. It just seems like the SEC is just up for grabs for pretty much whoever's willing to go and really work for it and to take it. And in the past, it's not really seemed that way, right? And then it, call it how you want it, right? There's been teams that have dominated this league for some time, and as other teams continue to get better, continue to kind of figure out who they are as a team and as a unit and as a culture, you see a lot more people competing and giving these people a run for their money, right? And I guess I don't really know what side of the fence we're on. I know we get a lot of people's best just because of the past couple of years that we've had that have had a lot of success. But yeah, you got to go out there and it'll be a fight every week, and it doesn't matter, like I said, what color, what jersey, what their name is. You just go out there and just try to be your best.
He's Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. Again, the Vol Report with Jacob brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. LASIK cataract procedure, regular examination, ccteyes.com. For Jacob, I'm Dave. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.